Hello, World Wide Web. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are hanging with artists and game designers and writers and creators of all kinds at the 34th Annual Necronomicon in Tampa, Florida. We're going to get started by shouting out to our friends over at Something Unique Magazine who are helping to share these videos and these great artists that are around here. Again, we're at Necronomicon 2015 at the Grand Hyatt Regency in Tampa Bay, and we are hanging with Lucienne Diver. Excuse me, I did that 3 times and then I still screwed it up. Lucienne Diver, the author of the Latter-day Olympian series. And welcome, and thanks for hanging with us, Lucienne.
Thank you so much.
And so tell us first. Let's start out. Tell us a little bit about the series.
Okay. The series is urban fantasy. It's set in modern day LA. It's got Greek gods, murder, myth, mayhem, lots of mayhem.
Wow.
So it's fast-paced, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, very snarky.
Awesome.
My heroine's family line may or may not date back to when the god Pan beer-goggled one of the Gorgons. And she doesn't really believe any of that until she sees a murder by something that looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And starts
to make a believer on you.
Yeah.
That's right. What's the latest book in the series?
The latest book is Blood Hunt, and that is coming out October 27th.
Awesome.
And it is, they're back in LA after taking a little hiatus over in Greece and some other places, because I like to travel a little with the series.
Great.
Yeah.
And the series is it Bad Blood?
Yep.
Is coming out.
Bad Blood is out.
It's out. Okay.
Yep.
Bad Blood. We have Crazy Blood.
Crazy in the Blood.
Crazy in the Blood. Rise of the Blood.
Yep.
Okay.
And Battle for the Blood.
Battle for the Blood.
Yep.
Okay. So there's 4 so far. More in the way.
Yep. 4 and Blood Hunt is the 5th. There's also a prequel story which is free for anybody to read. So if anybody wants to dip their toe into the series,
great.
It's called Trickster Blood.
Trickster Blood. Where can we find that one?
Anywhere. Amazon.
Anywhere. Okay.
And all over the place. And the hero in that one is Hermes, who is a character in the series, although not the main character, although he seems to be one of the most beloved. So
this is great. There's a lot that's mashed together in these books.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big mashup. What inspires you to write such an eclectic collection, from an eclectic well, I should say?
Sure.
Yes.
I took Latin for 5 years in junior high and high school, and as you know, there's really nothing you could do with Latin. Maybe if I'd gone into medicine, all the terminology and everything would be Latin based, and of course our language is Latin based, all of that. But it was the mythology that really called to me. And when I got to college, I was a writing and also anthropology double major. And comparative religion and comparative mythology and folklore and things like that was one of the areas that really just grabbed me. So I love writing modern day and taking the Greek gods and goddesses into modern day. In my series, having lost their worship, they've lost a lot of their power, and they don't have tribute anymore. They have to do for themselves. They've had to get day jobs.
Zeus with a day job. Nice.
Zeus now runs a pyrotechnic show out in Vegas. He works Caesar's Palace and all that.
That's great. It's interesting to see how you've taken them into their day jobs and given them an appropriate station in life. That's kind of a lot of fun too. How are you doing at the con?
Oh, great. I, for the first time, didn't get a table at the con so that I could walk around and
awesome.
A little bit more and not be tethered to a table. But this is my 3rd or 4th year at Necronomicon, and I love it because it's one big family. And I love getting dressed up in costume because I do cosplay sometimes.
Awesome.
I did Medusa last night. But my snakes were very unruly, so I wasn't around.
I think I saw you doing the cosplay, doing the costume contest there.
So it was. I love.
My little one was little Thor.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. Oh, is he adorable?
We had so much fun. This is.
I hear he went in and fought Loki all by himself.
He went into the photo booth.
Yeah.
And the photographer and the wranglers there. Did a whole photo shoot.
Yeah.
They battling Thor and Loki.
Yeah.
And they actually started out in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I poor guy. I thought
he didn't mind at all because I talked to him later.
Michael
I took his picture and he said, he mentioned it.
Yeah, Michael is 4, and I thought, oh my God. By the end of the night, I thought, oh God, Loki's gonna walk around going, oh God, don't let him see me. But they had such a good time, and they did the photo shoot together, and it was amazing to see. And then during the costume contest, little guy's walking around here, and he's looking everywhere, and he goes, I can't go on. And I went, why? And he goes, I can't find Loki anywhere. And it was such a good time. This is our first real con. We've done writers and author type conventions, reader conventions. But we decided to expand the show and talk to creators of all kinds. This is the first time we've been to sort of a mixed con, and we've had a blast. It is an amazing time. We've run into so many authors and writers from the other cons that we've met. So it's kind of a family. You take it with you wherever your conventions you're going to. But there's so much more going on and so much more dynamic. And so tell us what you love working with the genre. What's next? Is there more in the series coming or?
Hermes wants his own book. He just won't tell me what it is yet. So that's sort of on my back brain. I have a young adult vampire series also.
Wow.
That started out with Vamped and went on to Revamped, Fangtastic, and Fangtabulous. And that's very tongue-in-cheek, kind of Clueless meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, nice.
And that's a lot of fun.
I thought what they did to Joss's originally Buffy the Vampire Slayer was Clueless.
It was. It really was.
But it is.
Well, think of it as if Cordelia had become a vampire, you might have my main character. She's the fashionista with perfect nails, perfect hair.
Awesome.
Does not survive her senior prom. Has to claw her own way out of the grave, totally ruining her manicure and her day. No more tanning options, no way to fix her hair and makeup. And then on top of it, there's a rival vampiress who has designs on her boyfriend, and it's just... It's a lot of fun.
It's like it's high school with fangs.
Yes.
So that is really, really cool. So you've been coming to cons for a while.
Yeah.
This is how many Necronomicons now?
3 Necronomicons for me, but I've been coming to cons for about 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You like the cosplay?
Yeah.
Favorite parts of going to cons? What are your favorite things?
The people. I just love how. Because we have a shared interest, because we have shared things in common, what we like, Firefly or Buffy or anything by Joss Whedon.
Anything by Joss Whedon, yes. We
instantly have connections and things to talk about, and you make great friendships, and it's so accepting, everything goes. And I love the costumes because I love cosplay, and I love the mashups. I saw a few years ago at Necronomicon, somebody came as all of the Avengers at once, plus Agent Coulson.
Wow.
He had the Black Widow's hair, and he had Nick Fury's eye patch, and he had Captain America's shield, and all in one costume.
That's great.
And I love that.
This is a great place. Just when we first started the show, we were hanging with authors specifically, and we opened it up when there were just so many different creators that have a hard time getting the word out, and we thought we'd help out with that. But we came here and creators from published authors and artists and a filmmaker that we interviewed yesterday. But the creation that goes into a good costume. The creativity that goes into so many of the venues that are here, and the tradesmen that are in that they make an armor in there.
I know that cool? Chainmail, and they're making it while they're sitting there. Even I don't know how they don't go blind with all little tiny links.
And then they make an armor for your pet. That actually is functional. They make armor for hunters. So, and we talked to one of the chocolatiers yesterday. So this is just a bouffant of human creativity. This is for as much as we're probably picked on for being con folks, the reality is that this is the pinnacle of human evolution. This is where we create. And it is amazing to me. So
and the best thing about Finnish culture is that everybody appreciates everybody else's creations.
Well, the artists are fans. Which is it sort of shifts the paradigm of entertainment. So it's not, the artists aren't just hey, we're over here. They're actually fans of the fans. Yesterday we were seeing, I use cosplay as an example, we were seeing people coming in and out of the costume park that were like Old Home Day. They were like, I saw you at, and that, so there's a community that follows this stuff around, and that's really amazing. You're not tabling this week?
No table. I'm carrying my books on my back, so.
Well, if we get this out in time, no, we won't because it's Sunday. So I was going to say we'll tell people, come on to find you with your backpack and grab some books. But no, they can find you on Amazon, I'm sure.
Yep.
And where else online can we find you?
Everywhere. My website is my name, so LucienneDiver.com is the website. I'm
Awesome.
Lucienne Diver on Twitter. I have a blog. I'm actually starting up a new blog, too, that's the Gossip Mag of the Gods that one of my characters in the series runs.
That'll be cool.
So it's called Goddities, and that's at goddities.malibulist.com.
All I can think of is, I see those memes on Facebook of the text messages between superheroes or whatever. Now you have the blog of the gods.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
They've got dossiers and pictures and a scandal sheet. And
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Who's doing what to whom, you can find out.
What really, when you're creating this kind of a universe, and you have an anthropological background.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. There's a lot of research going into creating a modern universe for these classic mythologies.
There is, but it's such fun. I feel like it gives me a valid excuse to waste time doing spend time doing what I want to do anyway. Like I said, I was always really interested in comparative religion, and I love finding out the myths that just go across cultures. Like the flood myths, like the resurrection myths, like the evil twin or the twins, killing, like the one generation having to usurp power from the next generation, which is such a human trope anyway. We see it in young adult and middle grade fiction all the time, which is so subversive, and the kids having to do for themselves because the adults don't see the problem or are not in the thinking space to solve the problem because they're mired in the status quo.
Well, and you can feel it in literature and in writing. You can feel it even through later incarnations of the hero's journey as it evolved, where you could watch and say, they had a difficult time with what do you do with the last generation when it's Harry Potter's time, when it's King Arthur's time. What do you do with the last guy? The modern classical way to do that is kill them off early. Get rid of them so he doesn't have a fallback. But the pre-classical incarnation of that is, just let him kill him off. Let him. That either way you have to get rid of your mentor because you have to stand on your own.
Right.
And so the more you say modern, when you talk about King Arthur, it's 1,000 years old, and you're saying modern compared to a Greek myth, though, it is.
Right.
And modern incarnation is kill them off early and let the guy come of age on his own. And the classical incarnation is, wait, when he comes of age, he'll kill him off anyway. So it'll be interesting to see what you've done with that in a very modern setting. So the Latter-day Olympians, Bad Blood, Crazy in the Blood, Rise of the Blood, and Battle for the Blood. Okay.
And then Blood Hunt is the new one.
Blood Hunt will be coming out
October 27th.
Outstanding. So 5 books in the series. You can pick them up at Amazon or online bookstores.
Barnes Noble, anywhere.
And you can find Lucienne at her website, LucienneDiver.com. Okay. Facebook, Twitter, those places, are you out there?
I'm all over. Just type me in and you'll find me.
Outstanding. And so just Google it, Lucienne Diver, the Latter-day Olympian series, and find out more. We've been hanging with Lucienne and talking about the con. We're at Necronomicon 2015. I'm GW Pomichter, and we'll be back in a little while. So log on, tune in, and see who we're going to be hanging with next at Necronomicon 2015. Hello, World Wide Web. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are hanging with artists, game designers, writers, creators, and independent filmmakers at the 34th Annual Necronomicon in Tampa, Florida. Before we jump right in here, I want to give a special shout out to our friends over at Something Unique Magazine. They've been helping us share these videos and share these artists with you. So if you get a chance, go to somethinguniquemag.com. and check out Something Unique Magazine, all about the art scene and everything. It's really a great outfit. We're here at Necronomicon 2015 at the Grand Hyatt Regency Tampa Bay, where we are hanging with Tony Finkelstein of Final Destiny Productions, an independent film company. They have a couple of projects out there. Right now you have A Perfect Copy, which is a clone story, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? Tony, welcome. Thanks for hanging with us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So it's a little bit outside of what I do in the norm. I'm breaking into more artists. We've been doing authors a lot. So tell us a little bit about independent filmmaking, man.
Independent filmmaking is very much like a self-published author.
Outstanding.
Basically, there's two types. There's independent filmmaking where you have a budget to work with, and then there's guerrilla filmmaking.
Okay.
Which is you drop, you shoot, you run.
Outstanding. Outstanding. That's something you know a little bit about. So, what we have, we got some DVDs here. So we got a perfect copy.
Perfect copy is
okay.
A 33-minute short film about the evils of human cloning.
Okay.
Basically, the premise of the film is at her mother's funeral, she goes looking for her birth father and discovers that she's a clone and not a human being. She was rescued from World Med Labs as an infant and raised as a human.
Okay.
In search for her father, she's recaptured by World Med Labs, going to be harvested for human body parts for transplants, meets herself as a clone, which is this image here.
Okay.
Escapes World Med Labs to have the trial of the century to determine if clones have human rights.
Wow. You've really kind of just dove in there. And this is a contemporary issue. This is something we've been debating now for 15, 20 years, and you boiled it into 33 minutes.
Yes.
So that's amazing to start with.
We start the film at the funeral. Okay. It's based on one of my wife's short stories.
Okay.
She wrote the script. She actually acts in the film in two different roles. That's her on the cover in makeup.
Okay.
And she also plays the heroine out of makeup. Wow. And I got drafted to play the judge.
Outstanding.
No, it wasn't.
No?
The gentleman who was going to play the judge, the day that we were going to shoot that scene, decided he didn't want to be in a movie.
Oh.
So we're sitting there. I had rented the conference room at the Airport Hilton and converted it to judges' chambers. And all of a sudden, everybody starts looking at me going, wearing a shirt, got a tie, the robe will fit you, you got a beard, you're the judge.
Uh-huh.
And so if you look at the film, you see all these papers on the desk, like I'm taking notes. That's actually the script, and I'm looking at my lines and pretending like I'm taking notes.
Now, from the independent filmmaking point of view, is there any particular, there's a lot of jobs on a film set. A lot of hats that an independent filmmaker has to wear. What's your favorite thing to do when you put together film?
I like makeup.
Okay.
I did the makeup for Perfect Copy.
Oh wow! And we're gonna try to zoom in here when we get a chance to. You can see the makeup work here. This is the one that's captive at the lab still.
Right.
This one here. Okay, yeah. So that's fantastic.
Basically, that's the clone that she's based off of, who's been ragged out with infection so many times. Because World Med Labs would create human clones, infect them with disease to try to find cures.
Wow.
And that's what's left.
Wow. And so, now, no spoilers here, so the people will have to watch a Perfect Copy to find out whether or not human clones have human rights. And that's an interesting story.
Well, actually, we don't find out.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Oh, there's a spoiler for you. You're going to have a cliffhanger.
The trial ends. People are escaping, and there's still questions. And the TV reporter, who's at the very end of the film, who is reporting on the trial, makes a statement that kind of sums it all up, and that's when you'll have to see the movie.
I understand that you are looking to take this into a feature length. Yes,
we have a producer's rep in San Francisco area who's working on securing a $13 million budget for us to take it theatrical.
Oh, wow, that'll be fantastic. So are you excited about that?
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact, the script has actually been read by Antonio Banderas. It's been read by Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. And a couple others. It's just, right now, it's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward, because nobody wants to be first money in.
Ah.
If we come up with 20%, we have 6 groups that'll provide 80.
Wow.
But 20% of 13 million is a chunk of change.
It's a little bit of an investment there.
Yeah, that's a chunk of change.
Well, now I know that your wife is an author.
Yes.
And you're a filmmaker. Have you been to many cons?
We do between 10 and 15 cons a year. And
wow.
This is our 13th year on the con circuit.
Wow. That's amazing. How is Necronomicon measuring up here?
We love Necro. This is our 10th this will be our 13th year at Necro.
Yeah? And how's it going this year?
Love it.
Love it? Really?
Love it.
Having a good time? I know your wife was on a panel earlier. Do you get in and mix it up on the panels, or do you just like to watch?
I did 2 panels yesterday, and I've got 2 panels again today.
Okay.
Yes, last night was back-to-back. So,
what's your favorite part of the con?
my favorite part of the con is the con suite.
Really?
The con suite's where all the free food is.
Amen, brother. Really.
I enjoy the panels. I am your typical geek. My 2 panels yesterday was why I love comic books and the DC world of comic books and how they're doing on TV and film.
Yeah.
So, and then today...
Well, how do you weigh in on that? How are they doing on TV and film?
Well, DC is not well because
I think they jumped into television with their feet the last couple of years. Of course, in film, the problem is that DC created things. The DC universe rather created the iconic Chris Reeves and people like that. And right now, I think they're having trouble competing with them with those stories.
Well, see, my problem is my age. I was raised with the TV Superman, George Reeves.
Yes.
There is no other.
There you go. See? And that's what happens. I think DC creates iconic characters, probably because of the scope of the characters. I mean, Superman is a messianic hero. It's hard to outscope that. And so when you have George Reeves, and that's your generation, and Chris Reeves is my generation, my children grew up with Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Watching Tom Welling. And so when we go to the movies and we see someone else, I think DC has a hard time competing with themselves, more even than Marvel.
Well, see, DC did well. With Christopher Reeve, the first movie, Superman,
absolutely
was done very well. 2, 3, and 4...
just sort of, yeah.
Okay. And then on TV, The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Yes.
They did that very well.
Dean Cain did a fine job. He really did.
4th and 5th season, kind of.
Yep.
Then they came up with Smallville, which was totally out of character for Superman.
Very different. Very different. Those are the people that my kids grew up with Tom Welling.
Yeah.
And they waited all 10 years just to see him in the suit once, because now in the 80s, I tried to tell the boys, in the 80s we had a Superboy. They gave us a Superboy for I think 2 seasons.
No, we actually had 4 seasons.
Did we really?
You had 2 different characters playing the role of Superboy.
That's right.
Gerard Christopher picked it up in season 2 or season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually owns the rights to all the ones he was in.
Really?
And he's the one that has them on DVD now.
Ah, okay.
And then you got the first 2 seasons with, I forget what the gentleman's name was, but he turned out to be a bad boy. And the studio said...
Yeah, see. And so, but when you're competing with that, those generations of DC, it's not DC and Marvel head-to-head at the movie theater. You have to include what came before, because those things are iconic images in the minds of the fans. And then you have, we're at a con, we know, you have there's a comic book purist out there too that wants to see something a little... Well,
see, that's me. That's what I say. My problem is my age. If I look at a movie and the costume is wrong, the movie's wrong.
So the redesigns, on everything. Everything has been redesigned now.
Yeah, I mean, they went from George's costume, from the comic book to George, then from George to Christopher, and Christopher's costume was fine. Then they had Superman Returns, with Brandon Roth.
That was the first real major redesign.
Yeah, and that was a tribute to Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
But his costume, all of a sudden, you have a 3-dimensional emblem, 3-dimensional belt, brogans for the boots.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
The boots were the ones that got me. The rest of it, I kind of went, okay, the imagery is right, so if they're pulling it out a little bit, maybe just to modernize it. I try to do that a lot and not be too much of a purist, but at the same time I look at it and go, yeah, but the boots that were that thick were a little bit much.
And then you've got Man of Steel with Henry Cavill.
Which is a complete redesign.
Who's wearing his pajamas made out of neoprene.
It is. It's a completely different suit. It's a completely and it's not the first time it's been redesigned. There's a great book that shows you the evolution of everything as small as the Superman chest plate. It'll show you the evolution of that. So it's not that it hasn't been changed before, but
it started out as a triangle.
Yes.
And then it became a diamond.
And then
it became a big diamond.
Yep. And so as you watch it evolve, you think, well, these things do happen. They do evolve. A lot of times I think we get caught up, though, when you change something that is so iconic. I remember sitting in the theater and being terribly disappointed when I watched Superman Returns. Not because the film was wonderful. Brandon Routh did a fantastic job, and the thing that Brandon did so well was that he did Chris Reeves.
Yeah.
It was a real tribute, and it was amazing to watch. But I was watching the scene where they're going over the photographs. And Perry White says, it's a bird, it's a plane, they do the Superman thing. And then he comes out and starts telling them, I want you to find out this, I want you to find out this. And he says, that he stands for truth, justice, all that stuff.
Well, no, you
and
know
he
what
didn't finish the line, and I went, I grew up on that line. I
truth, justice,
in the American way. And I needed that line for that moment. And it's a more global world we live in now, so it was interesting.
Well, you know what the two best parts of that movie was, don't you?
Exactly.
In the very opening scene of the movie, you have the old lady who's passing away that Luther's married to.
Was a Lois Lane, if I'm not mistaken.
That was Noelle Neal.
Yes.
The original Lois Lane.
Okay.
And then when Clark first comes back to the planet, him and Jimmy are sitting in a bar watching the news on TV where Lois is aboard an airplane.
Yes.
Well, you know who the bartender was? It was Jack Larson, the original Jimmy Olsen.
The original Jimmy Olsen. So that, wow. It's amazing to go back and do that for the fans.
And the reason I'm so in love with that is Noelle Neal's actually a family friend of ours.
Oh, okay.
I met her through an actor friend of ours and wound up as her booking agent for autograph shows and conventions.
Wow. But you know what, Tony, we could probably talk all day. We just do this all day long. But we're hanging with folks right now. We're hanging at Necronomicon 2015, and we're going to try to wrap this up. Thank you, Tony, for hanging with us. And get out there. Where can we find Perfect Copy right now?
At any convention and on... that's really bad of me because I don't remember the website it's available at. But if you contact our website, FinalDestinyProductions.com.
FinalDestinyProductions.com. Look
or
it up.
FinalDestinyPress.com.
FinalDestinyPress.com. Great. So go ahead and look up Tony Finkelstein and FinalDestinyPress.com and check out A Perfect Copy. This is a 33-minute independent film production. Going to theaters near you really, really soon. I've got my fingers crossed for you, Tony.
Amen.
So thank you very much. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm GW Pomichter. We're going to be back in a bit. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next at Necronomicon.